So hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex with Operation Game Table, and I've got Kevin back with me. And he was here for our top 10 hidden gems. What was it? Top 10
that were not on
games not on BGG's top 100. Had a lot of good comments from there. You brought Boone Lake and Gugong, and then you brought a new one this time. So this is one that you didn't talk about on that top 10 list. And why don't you tell me about Auztralia?
Yeah, Australia. Australia,
mate!
It's kind of an awkward title. One of those things, if you want to look up this game, be careful. Autocorrect is going to change it to Australia.
Ah, damn autocorrect.
Take note of the Z. It's a game by Martin Wallace, believe it or not. Now, this is a game that's a follow-up to one of his prior games called A Study in Emerald. Board game about basically Sherlock Holmes fighting Cthulhu, right?
Elementary, my dear Watson. Purely elementary.
And this game is kind of a what-if scenario where what if, when people discovered Australia, they found Cthulhu and a bunch of other zombies and old world horrors out there? What would it be like if that happened?
Zombies! Guys, she said there's zombies!
Martin Wallace is normally known for making games about trains.
Take me to the train store.
You might be familiar with Steam, or a newer game of his, Anno 1800, which doesn't involve trains directly, but nonetheless, that's what he's known for, is train games. Australia might seem like a kind of an odd shift because it's about fighting old ones, Cthulhu and monsters and things like that. But believe it or not, it's actually really focused on building train routes to be able to get access to fighting those monsters.
So route building.
It's route building, that's right.
Okay.
But it's also all about efficiency because it's not about just chugging away and building tracks. It's actually hard to build tracks. It takes a lot of resources, so you need to do it strategically, get yourself in a place where you can attack the most of the Cthulhu monsters. Because this game has an odd balance between a competitive game and cooperative. The players are working together to fight off Cthulhu, which functions as like an extra player. I'll show it to you. With the two of us playing, Cthulhu is going to actually be like a third player. And if Cthulhu wins, neither of us win.
Okay.
But if at least one of us can beat Cthulhu, whoever has the highest score wins. So there's a certain amount of cooperative component to it where we are vested in making sure we keep Cthulhu in check. But at the end of the day, I want to kill more monsters than you do, or at least a more powerful monster. So we are still competing with each other. You may do things like a little bit of take that, like, blocking somebody. You just don't want to block them too much, because if you hamper your opponent, you're still relying upon them to help.
Help me! Help me!
And fight this off.
Okay.
So, you kind of feel like, Legolas and Gimli fighting off orcs. You're competing, but you're still on the same team fighting the bad guys.
A still only counts as one!
That's a good analogy. I like
Yeah. And it really does feel like that. Like in order to play this game well, you do have to work with each other a little bit, but know when's your time to push forward and take something.
What we're going to do in this video is we're going to go through, we're going to set up the game and we're going to play. You're going to show me how to play.
I'm going to show you how to play.
And then afterwards, at the end, I'm going to talk about what I like about the game and what I think about the game as a first time playing it. And is this still a valid game right now? I think it's ranked 700 and something on Board Game Geek. It came out, 2018? So it came out 7 years ago, so it's a little on the older side. It's not a newer game, but a lot of people might have forgotten about this game, so we're trying to bring it back to the table. I had actually never heard of it, so I'm excited to play it, and you just got it recently, right?
That's right.
So
been on my list for a while, one that I wanted to play. Very happy to recently got it. It might be, there's a whole cluster of games that might have fallen prey to the pandemic. You think about like 2019, 2020. Games, they kind of came out around that time for understandable reasons. People didn't get an opportunity to get them to the table quite as much.
I feel like the pandemic kind of created a boom for the board gaming
industry
that's right. as well, because you didn't have anything to do but sit around at home. So it's like, what do we do? Play a board game.
Fair enough. Maybe it's the solo games that worked out. Oh, on that note, another thing, player-wise, this can take 1 to 4 players. You can play this solo. You can play this by yourself if you would like to.
Fine. I'll just play by myself.
It makes it a really fun little puzzle. One little caveat out there, the solo mode is brutal. I have not been able to beat it on easy. Try as I might, it is really hard. If you look it up on Board Game Geek and look in the forums, people will lament about how hard it is to beat in the solo.
It's just so hard. You know?
Now, I don't think that's bad. I have found that for a good solo game like this, you want it to be hard. It's a puzzle you got to solve. You don't want it to come easily. If you beat it, the first time you play through.
You want it to feel like a real victory.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
not something that was just a piece of cake, because that is why I play it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is harder as a solo game than it is as multiplayer. So like when we play it, it's not going to be nearly as punishing as it is solo. So just kind of keep that in mind. Be ready for that if you want to play it. But the great thing about this is you pick up a copy of it for yourself. You can play it solo so you can learn the rules before you start introducing it to your friends. All right? Shall we go for it?
Yeah, sounds good. And I may put this playthrough on my Patreon for Patreon subscribers. So if you want to support the channel and help me grow,
I like money.
Yeah.
join my Patreon for $1 a month. You can vote on the next videos that I put out. For $5 a month, you get access to all these other videos that I'm putting on there. I've already got a few videos on there. I'm going to put the intro of this video and the outro, what I think about it. This is going to be on YouTube, but the actual playthrough of the game I'll put on my Patreon.
Great.
All
Awesome. Let's do it.
Ever since 1180, for 7 long centuries, the Old Ones held full sway over the riches of the earth and the affairs of humankind. All that changed in 1888, for in that momentous year, Sherlock Holmes and a clandestine fraternity of intrepid Victorian heroes succeeded in vanquishing these monstrous tyrants and driving them from their lands. Humanity had triumphed, but the countries of Europe and America were in a terrible state. The land was poisoned, and food shortages were a constant scourge. Other parts of the planet had not yet been explored, as the Old Ones had enforced a draconian ban on travel. Humanity, enjoying its newfound freedom, sent ships out to explore the world. A vast new continent was discovered on the far side of the world. At first called Terra Australis, it quickly became known as Australia. Intrepid prospectors and surveyors came to explore the new continent. They were followed by pioneers and settlers who constructed ports and built railways into the vast interior, developing farms and shipping the produce back to the hungry masses they left behind. Untold riches in coal, iron, and gold were discovered in the hinterland. But that was not all that awaited them. There was a reason why a ban existed on exploring this part of the world. Unbeknownst to all, hidden in the outback of the land, the Old Ones had established secret bases. Following their defeat, the surviving Old Ones and some of their loyal human allies had made their way to the holdfasts in the arid plains beyond the Great Dividing Range. As the colonists spread, the Old Ones began to stir, hell-bent on driving these irksome intruders back into the sea. Terrible creatures bred by the Old Ones started to move across the land, destroying everyone they encountered, blighting everything in their path. Faced with this horror, the new Australians pinned their hopes on the one advantage they had, the power of modern military technology, which was so much more advanced than in 1888 when mankind was last called upon to face against the Old Ones.
I'm sure I forgot a rule, but why don't we go ahead and start playing, and it will clarify once we give it a shot, right?
All right.
All right. So that's going to be going up to 17.
What was the first points that you scored? These
So,
here?
Yeah, for tiles that are face up.
So 9, and then
And then there's nothing face down because I flipped over that last one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So
yep.
it should be at 17. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it. And that's it. So now we figure out our score. I think we got a good shot at it. First off, each non-blighted farm is 2 victory points. So that gives you 2, 4, 6. You got 8 points right there.
Heck yeah.
Go ahead and give yourself 8 points.
I'm a farmer.
Yep. And I have 0 because I lost all my farms. Each phosphate is worth 3. So
Alright,
I've got 1 and you've got 1. So
Go
that
up
gives
to
you.
12. No, 8. Plus 3 is 11.
You put that on 3 for me. All right. And then victory points for old ones you acquired. So count up your points there. 9, 10,
15.
29. So that's 29. That would put me at
32.
32.
And I got 15.
Dang, actually, those farms really helped you out, didn't they?
So 10 would be 21, 26.
All right. And then victory point tokens in hand, but I don't have any, and you don't have any. So there's our end score. I did get you this time, but Alex, actually, those dropping down those farms.
Those
really,
farms at the end. I mean, 2 points each just for
Yeah.
dropping a couple farms.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Nice. Well done.
I think that's a valid strategy
Mm-hmm.
if you can get farms back like away from the zombies where it's
Yeah.
going to go for your port first.
Yeah.
If you can just get if you had a couple of rails that you threw down here every once in a while, connecting away from away from Cthulhu,
Yeah.
away from the old ones, and throw some farms down there.
So that worked really well with the way this game played out. But here's one of the tricky things about the game. Like, we ended up flipping over a lot of cards that revealed old ones. But sometimes when you play the game, the cards that are randomly put in the deck are more of assassinating personalities, which means less of them get flipped.
So how many different cards could there have been in here? Because you chose 5 out of how many?
There's 5 in each
There
section.
it is. That's the end. So we just ran out of
Overhead time.
Overhead
We still have
time.
this
Yeah,
time
we
here.
still have that one going.
That's good. So there's 10 different cards here. I can show you what they have if you want to look at them. But the nice thing about this game is the way it plays out is different almost every time you play. Because this time I felt like the old ones were pretty active, but we also flipped over cards that weren't so bad. I mean, here, look at this. These are the level 3s that we didn't face.
Cthulhu himself.
Yep, and here's some of the number 2s that we didn't face. So there's a couple of strong ones in there that we didn't end up seeing. And then let's see, where are those cards?
I liked it.
Yeah, it's a good game,
I
huh?
thought it was a good game.
Yeah. All right, so
And it was easy enough to learn.
that's right. Now, the other odd thing is, see how these cards have little, on top of it, they have like 2 gold here?
Yeah.
Or this has a -1 time point here up in the top left.
So does it give you those bonuses?
It gives you those bonuses. We just, interestingly enough, didn't shuffle in any of those cards into this deck. They're not common, but it usually end up with 1 or 2 bonuses. But if you look at the number 1 cards, we could have ended up with more assassinations and nothing happening, right? Some of these cards here have nothing happening. And so that means that less of these would get flipped. And so we might have ended the game with more of them face down. And as I was trying to kind of do the math in my head, like if Cthulhu was face down, that's 24 points at the end of the game. If Cthulhu had an extra, 24 points above what it had, that would have been,
Yeah.
it might have beat us.
I feel like this game would scale well to
Yeah.
3 or 4 players. I
It
feel
does.
like when I looked on Board Game Geek, it said it plays best at 2.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just because it takes more time adding those other players in.
Yeah,
It's going to
yeah.
make the game take a lot longer. And this took us, 2 hours probably if we wouldn't have been talking to the camera.
Yeah.
About 2 hours of gameplay here for
Yeah.
the 2 of us. So if you add another hour per person, it'd be a pretty long game. But it's I feel like on the board presence there's plenty of room.
Yeah.
Like we could have had another player here and here expanding out, and 3 or 4. I feel like 3 would probably be pretty good. 4 might be a little tight, might take a little while. How's it play as a solo? You said you played it solo, right?
Yeah, so if you look at the time track, you start at a different spot based on the number of players. And if you have like 3 or 4 players, think about how you're that much closer to where Cthulhu opens up. And so, again, in my experience, I've played it with 3 players, and we lost. Cthulhu beat us, actually, with 3 players. So playing it solo, I've played it several times, and every time Cthulhu beats me. Because what you find is there's less people out flipping the tiles, and so you're going to get more of these Cthulhu tiles face down at the end of the game. And so Cthulhu ended up with like 50, 60 points the last couple times I played.
Wait,
really hard to...
There's more of these tiles?
The same number of tiles, but you think about it, there's only one person going out and exploring and flipping these things over. So I ended up with a lot of these red tiles face down.
Oh, okay.
Right?
As
and that's one of the things I've learned in this
solo.
game. This is a game that is about being aggressive. There's a lot of board games that have Cthulhu in it.
I should have had Mr. Marino.
For every
plus
sheep
1
farm.
VP for every sheep farm. Might have got
You
4
would have
more
won.
VP.
Yeah.
Almost.
Usually when you play against Cthulhu, like, Eldritch Horror or Arkham Horror, those types of games, it's set up so that the old ones are so terrifying that you want to avoid them. Like, you don't want them to awaken. You don't want them to fight you. This is a game where it's a little different because it uses that IP. It kind of makes you, if you're used to playing those games, you might find yourself approaching this game a little more defensively, a little more tentative. Like, I don't want to poke the bear. I don't want to get the old ones all awoken and attacking me. But this game actually benefits you to do that. Oh, +1 for every old one you eliminated. Yeah.
That'd be a ton.
That would have been a lot of points.
Especially for you. How many did you eliminate?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6.
6, 7, 8. That would have been 8 points for me.
8 more points for you, man.
So you can see how each of these personality cards, under the right circumstances, really can influence how you play the game, right? So, yeah, I like it quite a bit. It is tactical.
Ooh, that'd be a good one, too.
Yeah.
Whenever an old one attacks one of your farms, it suffers 2 damage.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this game was fun, and I could see. How long does it take to play solo? Like when you sit like once you get it. I mean, obviously it took a lot longer teaching me.
30 to 45 minutes, I think.
That's fast.
Yeah.
I feel like if we played this again right now, we could probably do it in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, easily. I think so. Especially when you kind of got a feel for how it all goes. But it's a really fun game, and it's one of those ones that I just don't see people playing as much. But anybody who has played it has liked it. Yeah.
So if we did the top 10 games, not on BGG's top 100, would this make the list?
Boot something out? That's almost like asking me which of my kids do I love the best. I'm not sure about that. I don't know which one it would boot. But can I just say this? This is a great game, and if I think if any board gamer picks it up and plays it, they'll have a great time with it.
Yeah, I like it. Well, thanks for showing me.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this game, and if you have any games that you think are hidden gems or forgotten gems, games that a lot of people aren't really talking about these days, but deserve some more attention. Let us know in the comments what you think should be on that list.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
All right.